Hello everyone. Welcome to our third annual ceremony for National Day for Truth and Reconciliation, held here at the South Dundas Municipal Office. My name is Shawna O'Neill, and I'm the Communications Coordinator here. On behalf of our team, I would like to thank everyone for coming. Your attendance is important to us. Throughout the ceremony, I ask that you remain respectful and that you reflect on the importance of today's events and speeches. We would like to acknowledge that we are gathered today on traditional lands held by Indigenous peoples since time immemorial. It is also important to note that Orange Shirt Day and National Day for Truth and Reconciliation are observed on September 30th. We encourage you to consider attending local events that are happening in honor of these important initiatives. In our region, the Mohawk Council of Akwesasne, the Native North American Traveling College, the Children's Aid Society, and the City of Cornwall are hosting an event in Cornwall's Lamoureux Park this Saturday for anyone who's interested in attending. I would like to now welcome Theresa Bear Fox to perform for us before we hear from some of our local dignitaries. Theresa is from the Mohawk territory of Akwesasne. I've had the pleasure of hearing her sing before and love how she blends important and impactful storytelling with her beautiful music. Everyone, please welcome Theresa.
Okay. So good to be here with all of you. It's good to see you all here, and I love all the orange shirts. Thank you. Appreciate it. I wanted to do this song that really came strongly to me. It's called the song I'm going to do, the Hondo Galewatekwan, where we give thanks to everything in our creation, because our language is really important. And first we're going to give thanks to the people, our Mother Earth, the waters, the fish, the berries, the grass, the insects or the bugs, the medicines, and the roots are also medicines, the foods in our gardens, the animals, the trees, the birds, the thunders, the winds, the sun, the moon, our grandmother moon, the stars, our ancestors from the 4 directions, and this I use for our creator, our creation. So this is done in the language. This song came really strongly to me to teach the kids at home, because a lot of us can't speak our language anymore. And I wanted to share a little story I was sharing earlier with Shawna. My grandfather used to live with me, and I always wondered why when I went into the same room with him, like if he was sitting in a rocking chair and we came in with our magazines or our traditional clothes, he would look at us in disgust and he would just walk out. He didn't want to be in the same room with us. And then I learned later that he went to residential school. He was taken away from his family and put at a school, and they made him be ashamed of who he is, who we are as Native people. So this is why, and they would try to take our language from us. So doing these songs in the language, I feel like I'm helping in some way. And I got a message to teach the kids this song, and they can give thanks in the language, and so it'll help keep the language going. So I want to share this song with you, and it's really this long, but I'm going to put it this short. So I hope you like it, and welcome to sing too if you'd like to sing. What we're saying is everything in our creation is so beautiful, and the Gwa Yoyanale is the words that is the chorus part. Okay? So we're going to sing Guahio Yanale twice. It goes like this. Guahio Yanale, Guahio Yanale, Teatino ala dansne on queson a, Teatino tino wala dusye kenista honja. Te tino wala dusme oneka sum a. Tunya dumhak ne guani la. Guayo yanale, guayo yanale. Te tino wala dusme gajon sum a. Te tino wala dusme gahi sum a. Te tino wala dusme ohande sum a. Tunya dumhak ne guani la. Guayo yanale, guayo yanale. Te atino wala dusme ojino wasum a. Te atino wala dusme ono kwasum a. Te atino wala dusme odela sum a. Tunya dumhak ne wani la. Guayo yanale, guayo yanale. Te atino wala dusme gayan tosala. Te atino wala dusme gundilio. Te atino wala dusme okwile sum a. Tunya dumhak ne guani la. Guayo yanale, guayo yanale. Te atino wala dusme ochida ogum a. Te atino wala dusme la diwelas. Te atino wala dusme gayeleni gawelage. Tunya dumhak ne guani la. Guayo yanale, guayo yanale. Sungwaji agyo kaneka gala agua. Yetiso ta asuntaneka gala agua. Te atino wala dusme ojistano kwasum a. Tunya dumhak ne guani la. Guayo yanale, guayo yanale. Te atino wala dusme gayelene okwetake. Danchideno wala dusme sungwaya dizum. Guachi o yanale on a hodan losan. Tunya dumhak ne guani la. Guayo yanale, guayo yanale. Guayo yanale, guayo yanale. Guayo yanale, guayo yanale. Guayo yanale, guayo yanale. Thank you. Oh, maybe you want to.
Thank you so much, Theresa. We will now hear from South Dundas Mayor Jason Brott.
Thank you, Shawna. Thank you for everybody in attendance today. This is wonderful to see so many people out on a wonderful day. And good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. It's great to see the students here from grade 5-6 class at Morrisburg Public School and the grade 7-8 class from St. Mary's and St. Cecilia. So thank you all for coming. The Municipality of South Dundas has held this ceremony since the Government of Canada first observed National Truth and Reconciliation Day in 2021. While we are a new council team this term, and there are many new staff members who has joined us today and joined us over the year, we want to emphasize that we are all committed to advancing our reconciliation efforts. I would like to thank the previous council term for their efforts. One of their last acts while in office was committing to install an orange memorial bench, you'll see over my shoulder, in front of the municipal building. The bench was installed this summer and it serves as a physical reminder of our municipality's commitment to reconciliation, not just on September 30th, but every day of the year. It is our responsibility to reflect on our national and local history. We must shine through a light of dark elements in our history in order to heal together. Today we recognize and remember people, many of whom were children that suffered and lost their lives at residential schools. We understand that the trauma caused by residential school system and the repressive system still impact Indigenous people today. It can be difficult to know what we can do as individuals, but it's important that we continue to educate ourselves and speak against the injustices affecting Indigenous people and hold our governments accountable to make good on their promises. We do want to do and confirm, reaffirm our support that every child does matter, not only now, but in our past. We must celebrate Indigenous culture and always seek to improve our relationship building with Indigenous neighbors and our friends. In terms of our own history here in South Dundas, we are still seeking to grow our knowledge, but with the help of our archivist, Susan Peters, we've been able to determine that the St. Lawrence Iroquois occupied this area in the 13th and 14th century. This area was later occupied by the Iroquois of St. Regis Akwesasne. It has been found that the Beckstead site in Williamsburg once consisted of Indigenous longhouses and ceremonial sites, as well as the Stewart site in Morrisburg on Santa Bay served as a seasonal fishing station, serving as a food reserve. For we are ever grateful to those who occupied the lands before us. Through their stewardship and connection to the land, it has flourished and grown as it is today. I'd like to thank my council members who are with me today, Councillor Smith and Deputy Mayor St. Pierre. I'm happy that Theresa Bear Fox is here today and is going to share some wonderful songs with us. It's also great to see our warden of SDG, Tony Fraser, in attendance. And I'd also like to introduce and have the honor to have Chief Abram Benedict here as we continue to build a better and brighter future in our communities together. Thank you.
Segal, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to join in this afternoon. Thank you, Mayor, for the introduction, and as well as for the invite to today's event. My name is Abram Benedict. I'm the Grand Chief of Akwesasne. Our community is about 30 minutes towards Cornwall, right next to Cornwall. Very unique community that straddles Ontario, Quebec, New York, as well as the province of Ontario. Canada, United States, excuse me. And today we're acknowledging the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation, which is about an era in Canada that hasn't always been talked about. It was only most recently, a couple years ago, that there was some grim news that came out of the West in British Columbia. That was a school, actually a school that looked like a structure like this building, that people had done searches on the ground and found that children had been buried in the grounds of that school. That was an Indian residential school. And up until that point, we knew that things had happened in that school. Not only were they supposedly taking care of children, educating them, making them better people, but we knew that some other things were happening. Children were going to these schools where their families thought they would be safe, and they never returned. And they were buried on the grounds of that place. And those families never knew what happened. And that was the era of residential schools. In fact, the last residential school in Canada closed in about 1992, which is not that long ago. And to think, as us, as parents, as a community, that we instill in our institutions to take care of our children. And I'm glad that we have so many children here today to share in, acknowledge the history of Canada, but also to understand and learn. The National Day of Truth and Reconciliation came from a long history, a report that was done. The government done a Truth and Reconciliation report, and they listened to survivors. And one of the many recommendations that was done from the Commission was to acknowledge one day, at least, so that Canadians, Ontarians, all visitors to Mother Earth will know why it's significant and important that we acknowledge the survivors, those children that went to the school, the children that graduated and left, and the children that didn't graduate and never came home. And the importance so that we know that as Canada, as a country, as a nation, that those mistakes are never made again. And we learn from that. And tomorrow we acknowledge those survivors Today we acknowledge those survivors. Last year we raised the orange flag here, and some of you may have been here. And this year they put an orange bench in, so that every day we remember the history, but also remember that we, as a society, as a people, it is our job to make sure we're doing better. And as a community, as an Indigenous community, as a Mohawk community, it is our role, it is my role to make sure that we're sharing those stories, acknowledging the hardship that people before us have gone through. So I want to acknowledge the township, South Dundas, the Municipality of South Dundas, for the work that they're doing and making sure the residents of this community remember the importance of not only today, tomorrow, but every day, and the sacrifice that many have made around building this nation, including our children. Our children have made sacrifice. Little did they know. But it's important that we remember and acknowledge that. So on behalf of myself, my community of Akwesasne, I want to thank all of you for acknowledging today the work that you're doing, and to the mayor and the previous council. Thank you for acknowledging. Now we'll go on.
Thank you for your words, Abram. I would like to share that MP Duncan and MPP Nolan Quinn both could not be in attendance today, but they send their regards and their support. And Stephanie is here to represent MP Duncan today. So thank you, Stephanie. I would now like to call on SDG Warden Tony Fraser to say some words.
Before I get started in this long speech, I just want to reflect on some of the words that have been spoken today by the mayor of South Dundas, Mayor Broad, and of Grand Chief Abram. He talks about the last residential school and being closed in '92. Thank you. And I know there's no one on this side that remembers that, but I think of some of the fellows on that side. And I was just doing some quick calculations of my grade school math, and in 1974, I left grade 6. And that just speaks to how current 1992 is. It truly is astonishing to think that these things were going on when I was your age. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for gathering here today on this significant occasion as we come together to mark Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Day. I'm Tony Fraser, the Warden of SDG, also the Mayor of the Township of North Dundas. And I want to thank Shawna. I believe it was Shawna that made sure I was invited to attend this important celebration today. And also, it's a pleasure of mine to be here with Bear Fox, who gave us that lovely song, Grand Chief Abram, Benedict, the Mayor, as I said, Mayor Broad, Deputy Mayor St. Pierre, and Councillor Smith. It's a pleasure to be with some fellow local politicians as we recognize the importance of this day. Truth and Reconciliation Day is not just another date on the calendar. It is a solemn reminder of the painful chapters in our nation's history. It compels us to confront the uncomfortable truths, the injustices that have plagued Indigenous peoples for generations. But it also provides us an opportunity to heal, to learn, and to grow together. In the spirit of reconciliation, let us pledge to embrace the journey towards understanding, empathy, and unity. Let us honor the memory of those who have suffered, the injustices as well. We need to honor the memory of the survivors who have shown incredible resilience. Together we can write a new chapter of hope, respect, and cooperation. This day calls upon us to educate ourselves about the rich cultures, tradition, and histories of Canada's First Nations, the Inuit and Métis people. Let us actively seek knowledge, engage in open dialogue, and build bridges of understanding. It is through our collective efforts that we can ensure the mistakes of the past are never repeated. I urge each and every one of you to take a step towards reconciliation, support Indigenous-led initiatives, participate in cultural events, and most importantly, listen to the voices of Indigenous communities. Let us come together to create a more just, inclusive, and compassionate Canada for all. As the residents of South Dundas and Glengarry, we have a role to play in the larger tapestry of reconciliation. Together we can weave a brighter future, one where the scars of the past serve as a reminder of our commitment to justice, understanding, and unity. Thank you for being here today, and may the Truth and Reconciliation Day inspire us all to be agents of change, healing, and hope. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tony. In closing, I would like to thank you all again for attending and welcome Theresa Bear Fox to sing 2 closing songs. Following this, we ask that staff and dignitaries gather for a photo. I also understand that students from St. Mary, St. Cecilia may have to leave to catch the bus, but we appreciate your attendance, so thank you very much. So now, Theresa.
So this is the kind of rattle instrument that we sing with. And the last song I'm going to use my rattle. Oh, it's the tattoo, because I sing. I put my rattle on here, and I have my clan inside the rattle also. So the song I want to share with you all is called Rich Girl. This one's in English. Like I said earlier, how I get messages for songs. This one also came to me really strongly. It wanted me to write about how it was growing up in Akwesasne. I always thought I was rich because every day I was so happy. And I didn't realize that our family really didn't have a lot of money until I made friends at school, and I got off the bus at my friend's house and I went in her house, and it was the very first time I ever saw a new fridge, a new stove, a really nice floor, new cupboards, a table and chairs that all matched, and I was just like, oh, wow, I never saw that before. And then it dawned on me, I guess we're not rich, but I'm happy every day. So what I was rich with was a lot of love. So this song came to me and I had to hurry up and write it, and I want to share it with you all, and I hope you like it. When I was a little girl, when I was a little girl, when I was a little girl, I helped my mother with the chores. Then I would go to the river to swim. We'd play tag and swim on a swim. I loved to feel the hot summer heat. Couldn't stand shoes upon my feet. I am the youngest of 14. I am a rich girl, can't you see? My father was a farmer, hard working. He worked all day till the evening. His hands were callous and full of strength. He didn't speak very much English. He was a well-respected man, knew his medicines and was very clean. He took care of his family. I am a rich girl, can't you see? My mother was the kindest you could meet. Her eyes, they sparkled and her smile so sweet. She loved babies, held them to her cheek. She made everyone feel unique. She was known for her butter and cream. So throughout her community, she made sure we had extra money. I am a rich girl, can't you see? Our house, it was very old. In the winter it was so cold. Wood filled wood stove for our heat. Bundled in blankets we would sleep. People thought that we were poor because of the holes upon our floor. But I'm a rich girl, can't you see? So much love in our family. Now I have a family of my own. I try my best to guide them as they grow. Try my best to keep them from harm. Tell them stories about the farm. When it's time to turn out the lights, I tell them I love them and good night. Then I hold my baby tight. I know everything is going right. Both my parents have passed away, but I know I'll see them someday. I am grateful for my family. I am a rich girl, can't you see? I am grateful for my family. I'm a rich girl, can't you see? So much love in our family. I'm a rich girl, can't you see? The last song I'm going to share with you all is called Gayeli Nyangwedige, which in our language means like the four messengers. This song represents like I'm asking the ancestors from the four directions to watch over my family so that no harm comes to them. This one also came really strongly when I went on a vision quest and I was worried about my little ones, that they might get hurt, but this melody came to me and it just took all the worrying away from me. So while I sing the song, I'd like you all to think of your families with a white light of protection around them so that they stay safe. Okay? So I'll do that song now. I hope it's like this one. Kayali Nyongwedage Owatoka Askwayena waze Se atano nane Akwachile Owatoka Askwayena waze Yo, yo, ana yo, yahe. Yo, yo, ana yo, yahe. Yo, ana yo, yahe. Yo, ana yo, yahe. Kayali. Nyongwedage Owatoka Askwayena waze Se atano nane Akwachile Owatoka Askwayena waze Yo, yo, ana yo, yahe. Yo, yo, ana yo, yahe. Yo, ana yo, yahe. Yo, ana yo, yahe.